Welcome back, Bravehearts, to Spoiled Rotten. That's right. The All-American Meat and Potato Man. The All-American Meat and Potato Man is spoiled rotten. I mean, you know it, I know it, but the reality is the All-American Meat and Potato Man is everywhere. So now abnormals become normal. So let's tell a story about our All-American Meat and Potato Man. Hi, honey, I'm home. I've had a hard day and I'm starving to death. Well, of course, the meat and potato man is starving because he's malnourished, he's toxic, and he's been programmed to only satisfy his taste buds and fill his stomach, right? Yeah, he's usually a little grumpy. Every day is a hard day because he only has a 4-inch consciousness when it comes to diet. So guess what? 4 inches of what? Pleasure and 30 feet of hell. Listen, my grandmother used to say, Daryl, your grandfather's not grumpy, he's just constipated. At the time, I did not understand, but in time, I grew to understand this would become a normal way of life for the majority. Oh, and by the way, my grandfather died of bowel cancer. The lesson here is it doesn't pay to hold on to things emotionally or physically too long because guess what? They will ferment, they will putrefy, and you will get root rot, which is your large intestine, which will spill into the rest of your body, and you will become spoiled rotten at the weakest link. So, our meat and potato man has never been taught the guidelines of what healthy eating or thinking is, or the need to gentle cleanse his large intestine on a daily basis. Look, the majority of the population have been taught that every 6 months to 9 months, when you start to feel really crappy because you're full of, then you'll go in and do a deep dive, deep cleanse, and then guess what? You'll cleanse too fast and your body will be overwhelmed with toxins. Why wouldn't you want to have the perfect day every day? And how would you do that? By getting a perfect day consultation and then getting a map, a reality map of how you can have a beautiful day every day. Why should we suffer? Why should we suffer? That is the question I want to leave you right now. Look, our meat potato man suffers every day. This is no fault of his or his wife's. It's just part of the family curse. Question everything. Always question your beliefs. Always question authority. Just like everyone else, the meat and potato man's idea of a nutritional diet has been passed down through the family and is based on hand-me-down tips, media advertising, and the 8 hours of nutritional training that their medical doctor received. God help us all. As far as health tips go, the rules to the eating game have changed drastically over the last 75 years. Environmental toxicity has skyrocketed, and all this glicky, sticky, gooey, processed, fried, chemical-laden, new and improved GMO food is spoiling us rotten from the inside out and the bottom up. As far as nutritional facts obtained through the media, make sure you have a great medical plan because this, my friend, is an evil plot from the beginning right to the end. By the time you're 50, guess what? You realized you've lost your health and now you're going to get ready to lose all your money to try to get your health back. So goodbye wealth. I'm going to try to get my health back. Understand something. The average medical doctor is not trained in nutrition or detoxification, so it's not fair to make them responsible for something they've never been educated in. Oh my God. Okay, here's the deal. You actually believe that the medical system is into health. They're not into health. They're not into health care. They're into emergency care. Medical doctors specialize in emergency care, and if you use them for your daily care, then you are putting your life at risk and may very well become a 911 emergency every day for the rest of your life. Understand, 8 hours of nutritional education won't cut it because they specialize in drugs to kill the pain, which shuts down your body. What kind of relationship is that? This does not create a loving, caring relationship with your body. If you use the medical system for your main health care, then you are unconsciously running a dysfunctional life support program because you are going to end up just on life support. And understand this, the majority of the population, okay, They're on their way to life support. And how do you find yourself having to go on life support? Well, because you made it everybody's business, your health. You've made your health everybody's business. And understand, by the time everybody gets done with you and takes a piece of you, you'll be on life support. And why are the majority on life support? Well, this means real self-love and true self-care are almost non-existent for you. Or it's because you have been swept up into the domino effect of unconscious living like 98% of the population. Understand this, it's your life, your body, and it's always been your God-given responsibility to love and care for it daily with gentle baby steps. And this is why I'm telling you that you need to get a perfect day consultation. You need to find out what is a perfect day for you from the minute that you rise until you gently close your eyes at the end of the day. Because understand something, to conform to the norm, in my opinion, makes for an emotionally and physically abusive lifestyle. But don't take my word for it. Look at statistics. What programs are you running? Have you ever really taken a look at your programs? That means that you would have to stay in the conscious moment. But most people are only in the conscious moment throughout the day for 2 to 5%. That means that 95 to 98% of the day, people live in the subconscious, unconscious. So talking about programs, our meat and potato man has never been taught how to deal with his emotions or that nutritious food is a must or bust. How many people do you know out there that are busting? They're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And do you know the bigger you get, the more you suffer. The bigger you get, the more pain you have, the more inflammation you have, and the less energy you have. So, our meat and potato man is starving emotionally and physically. He is not fulfilled on many levels. And understand something, your personality equals your reality. How's that working for you? Understand this, when one is always starving, one is always eating. So go ahead, eat empty food and fill yourself up completely with toxicity. Negative emotions can never be satisfied, so no matter how much you eat, our meat and potato man will always be hungry. Because until you know how to self-care and self-love, you'll never be satisfied. But you will use food to bury your emotions. Here's the dirty little secret of corporate America. Teach the population to eat lots of empty foods with chemical hooks and little nutritional value. What? This makes no sense, you say. Well, listen, grasshopper, it's long past making sense, and now it's into making billions of dollars. Look at their plan, their master plan, consists of teaching people to eat food deprived of nutrients. This evil plot is making corporations rich while causing all the all-American meat and potato men to become sick, frustrated, and broke. Not just broke, but actually breaking down both physically and emotionally on all levels. I want to ask you something. Where's the love? Where's the self-care? Understand this, corporations have become an evil entity with no blood, no feeling, no heartbeat, just a ferocious bottom line, and I'm telling you something, and they're making your bottom bigger. The meat and potato man is now spoiled rotten, rotting from the inside out and the bottom up. I love when a plan comes together, don't you? Well, the plot thickens. Now it's off to the doctor he goes to get more chemicals, except this time, let's call them medicine. Oh, what a wicked web we weave when we let ourselves to be deceived. Because the meat and potato man now looks like and feels like, you know what, crap. Well, you know what I mean, and he's full of it. He has now unknowingly turned his body into a walking, talking human garbage can. He now needs drugs to suppress the pain, the inflammation, the swelling, and the disease he has unknowingly created. But what our meat and potato man doesn't understand is this. Go ahead. Tell your body to shut up with pain. Tell your body to shut up when it has inflammation. Tell your body to not have swelling when it's trying to dilute the poisons that are inside of you. And you know what you're doing? You're killing yourself. That's right. When you take drugs, you numb yourself out. And that's what we do all day long. Most people do it all life long, and they numb themselves out. But the fire and the inflammation is still raging inside. Have you ever had the feeling you've been played? Do you want to know how the meat and potato man can mess up this evil plot by these corporations? By taking his power back. Better still, how about not giving it away in the first place? You can live by chance or you can live by choice. You decide. But understand something. Who's making the choices for you? Are you actually making the choices? Okay, and then those programs that you're running in your life each and every day, are they your programs? Or have you been programmed? Have you taken downloads that are corrupt, that are corrupting your choices, that are corrupting your food intake? Look it. Become a braveheart or blow apart. The key is the following. Always question authority because you are the only authority for you. Believe nothing you read, hear, or see until you have proven it for yourself. First and foremost, because understand, your body is counting on you, okay? It's counting on you. Always make sure the decisions you are making are actually yours and not unconscious downloads of deception. And understand something, do not compare yourself to anyone else. 92% of the population has an autoimmune disease, okay? And listen to this. They don't just have one. Most people have 1, 2, or 3 of these autoimmune disease running in their body. 86% of the population is overweight. 40% of the population is obese. 1 out of 3 children are overweight. Listen, nutrient deprived and hurting. That's our meat and potato man and the rest of his family. Now let's feed this starving, malnourished, toxic, and tired meat and potato man. Being the loving wife she is, she gives him a large serving of meat and potatoes and a large glass of milk. The starving meat and potato man gulps down his food, barely tasting or chewing it. I'm sure he must think he has a second set of teeth down in his stomach. Good luck with that one. We must always chew our food well. The smaller the particle size of the food allows for a greater surface area for stomach acid and enzymes to digest, assimilate, and capture the nutrients. So we all have a choice to gulp our food down or to chew our solids into a liquid. If we were to do that, then we would not bloat, we would not cramp up, we would not have constipation, we wouldn't feel sluggish. So you have a choice to make. Digest or putrefy. Choose wisely. Another golden rule for effective digestion is never mix a protein with a starch. Meat requires protein enzymes for digestion, and starches, such as potatoes, require starch enzymes. When these enzymes are mixed together, they neutralize one another and allow the ingested food to putrefy, otherwise rot inside of you. You know what? You need to get this. Every time that you bloat, every time you have indigestion, every time you have heartburn, every time that you feel pressure down there, you have eaten incorrectly. And guess what? People aren't doing this once a day. They're doing it 2 and 3 times a day. And then they're wondering why their body breaks down. Look it. Instead of the food being digested by enzymes, it breaks down and putrefies, creating more bad bacteria. A side effect of this is bloating, like I said, and bloating creates what? Nauseous gas. And these nauseous gas are created by the bad bacteria. Where do you think your stinky farts come from? In addition, mixing different types of concentrated cooked foods takes much more energy to digest than the actual energy derived from the food itself. So are you getting this? You may not know this, but if you walked 10 miles, that's how much energy it takes to digest 3 what we called all-American meat and potato man meals, okay? So you're using up more energy to digest the food than it's giving, and this is why you're sick, fat, and exhausted. This should be obvious if you're conscious, if you're in the conscious moment, but we already know that people are only in the conscious moment 2 to 5% of the day, okay? So if you're conscious, then you will see that you do not have energy after your meal. You will feel sluggish. So understand something. Why do we eat? We eat for energy. So anytime that you eat and you don't have energy after the meal, you might want to take a look at that. Did you also know that the average all-American meat and potato man meal takes 70% of your daily energy to digest? But the real problem with this is if you are already tired before you eat, digestion is never complete, and the back door is never sweet. Another problem arises. Not only are the body's internal enzymes neutralized by improper food combining, but the cooked foods also have had their natural occurring enzymes destroyed through the heat used in the cooking process. And understand, this is why I promote the perfect day diet. This is why I tell everyone that in weight volume, you should be eating 80% fresh and raw. That's right, 80% fresh and raw, whole plant-based foods. Listen, we are so addicted today, okay, to the chemicals, okay, and all the poisons that they put into the food. We are addicted just like a drug addict because that's exactly what they're putting in these processed foods. As my grandmother used to say, the more you cook, the worse you look. The more you fry, the sooner you die. Just understand, your food has a much greater chance of putrefying in a tired and weak digestive tract. This will lead to gas, ulcers, inflammation, infection, heartburn, bad breath, sinus problems, tinnitus, bloating, constipation, diarrhea, and this is only the beginning of the domino effect of unconscious living. And understand something, you're going to want to read the domino effect of unconscious living or go watch the video after you have gone through this video, Spoiled Rotten. And understand something, if you're tired, drink water. If you're tired, have a nap. But if you're tired and you decide to eat, it's not going to be sweet. It's going to be rotten by the time it gets to the back door. When we make unhealthy food choices, this makes for a bumpy ride all the way from the mouth to the rectum. It is always a wise decision to have a salad with every meal when possible. It's even more wise to have a huge salad just for a meal. Listen, the live enzymes aid in digestion and the fiber supports the cleansing and toning of the digestive tract and also restores the good bacteria in your large intestine. And that is 85% of your immune system is those bacteria in your intestine. You've got 50 trillion cells. You've got 500 trillion good bacteria. Well, they should be good bacteria. And what usually it is 15% bad and 85% good in the large intestine. But guess what? Your all-American meat and potato man, womp. It's backwards. 85% bad bacteria, 15% good. Is that why he's moody? Is that why he's up and down? Absolutely. Just like his tummy, up and down, up and down. Look, to maintain a healthy body in this day and age, the greater weight and volume of your diet must come from a whole plant-based diet. So please go take a look at the 4 Pillars guide and go watch the 4 Pillars video in my library, okay? So, do you want to become a slow motion train wreck? Understand, all foods carry vibrational frequency. Is your diet bringing your frequency, otherwise energy, up or down? Look at, life breeds life. The more fresh and raw you eat, the more vibrant or high vibrational you will look and feel. Fresh and raw foods carry a high vibrational frequency that aids in both healing, the building of a strong immune system, and a happier you. Cooked and processed foods carry a low or no vibrational frequency, which vibrates at the level of sickness. Okay, this breeds infectious invaders known as parasites, viruses, fungus, and good old bad bacteria, right? And those bad bacteria, listen to me, you do not go attacking them with antibiotics. You go and you give them what they need. You love them well. You care for them. by high vibrational foods, because understand something, as Louis Pasteur said, the bug is nothing, the inner terrain is everything, and that inner terrain must get healthy by something that is everything, which is whole plant-based foods. Listen, how long will you go? Heads you win, tails you lose your health. Remember, when you were younger and you could eat a whole pizza, try that today and see how you look and feel. Our body simply does not produce the number of enzymes as we used to when we were younger. And that's the bottom line. So listen to this. So as you get older, your food has to become more whole plant-based, because we need to put life into our foods. When we're young, we're full of life. And that's why we can get away with making mistakes. As you get older, you get programmed, so programmed in your subconscious, and keep eating the same old way, you're going to fall apart. The last time I ate like that, I woke up the next morning looking like a Pillsbury Doughboy and feeling like I'd been hit by a train. And I only ate like 3 pieces of pizza, and that's it. I can remember when I was younger, I could eat a whole pizza myself. And remember, that 3 pieces of pizza, I did that years ago. I don't make that mistake anymore. Well, if I do, my body lets me know it. No one enjoys a hit and run. And understand something, if you don't eat right, you're going to feel like you were a hit and run. You need to eat live food and stay that way each and every day, creating the perfect day, which is based on nature's way. Look, full but running on empty. Yeah, who would that be? How about the majority of the population? How about your whole family? This is the way that people live. And this is the type of eating lifestyle, okay, that are feeding these corporations. This is why people are on drugs. This is why people are having surgery all the time. And it's all because they're not minding their own business. From their mouth, the front door, the rectum, the back door, and the digestive tract, which is known as the highway of life. So full but running on empty. But let's get back to the all-American meat and potato man story. He's almost finished eating his meat and potatoes and his glass of milk, or rather, should I say, gulping down his food to be more accurate. Because understand something, he's always hungry because he's always starving. So he's not getting fed, he's only getting filled. And that's quite obvious. So now he is finishing his meal. And now guess what? He's beginning to feel better because his sugar glucose is climbing and he's feeling more energetic. His wife says, "Honey, do you think you would like to come with me for a walk tonight? We haven't done that for a while." "Sure, sweetie," he agrees. His wife finishes eating and starts cleaning the dishes. Our meat and potato man is just finishing his supper, and his wife asks, "Dear, are you full yet?" And of course, he belches and states, "I think I have a bit more room." He belches because he is suffering from low hydrochloric acid production in his stomach due to the buildup of mucus congestion created from the constant irritation, inflammation, and improper food combining from this all-American diet. Go figure. As the meal is drawing to an end, so is he. He grows even more tired. Poor guy. No matter how much he eats, he can't get his energy back. He's been backed up for years now. Poor eating habits have spoiled him rotten. His food has begun to putrefy due to the broken down digestive tract and the poor dietary habits that he thinks are normal. As mentioned earlier, we either digest our food with enzymes or it breaks down through putrefaction, otherwise rotting because of bad bacteria. Hey, listen, have you ever been to a farm? Have you ever seen a manure pile? Go in and dig into that manure pile, flip it over a little bit, and watch the gas come off. That gas is going into his system, into his tissues, into his blood, into his organs. It's going into his brain. Look, the purpose of eating was meant to feed the body, not fill it. "Honey, how about that walk?" she says. "I'll finish the dishes and we'll go." "Gee, dear, I don't know. Something has come over me. I'm too tired to go for a walk right now. I think I'll just sit here for a while and let my food digest, he replies. Little does he know, for him, it's called putrefaction. You see, our meat and potato man has never eaten in an effective way, a healthy way. He eats like the majority, so for him, this is as good as it gets, and the worst is yet to come. Blood flow has now decreased in his limbs and other organs and has increased in his digestive tract because it is overwhelmed and in crisis from all this overeating and mistreating. This surge of blood supply to his abdomen is a life-saving protective response coming from his body system in hopes to reduce the putrefaction of his latest meal so his toxemia, otherwise dirty blood, does not escalate into acidosis and full-blown inflammation. This reduced flow to his arms, legs, and head has also deprived him of the little oxygen he had in the first place. This has made him even more tired than when he started to eat. This is what happens when you live to eat instead of eating to live. Life is short-lived, let me tell you. This is a story where an abnormal abdomen is now viewed as normal. The heat is on, the pressure is starting to build down below, and the meat and potato man is getting ready to blow. Wake up, show up before you blow up. And that's the bottom line. When was it that men looking 3 to 6 months pregnant became a normal way of life for the majority? I'll tell you when. When corporations learned they could master the minds of the masses. Where the mind goes, the body follows. The meat and potato man is now about ready to blow. He has had to loosen his belt a couple of notches to make room for his bulging belly. There's a cesspool down below that has given rise to the bad bacteria, which are now creating toxic, nauseous gases that's blowing him up like a hot air balloon. Gee, honey, he gasps. I feel pressure on my chest. I feel like I'm having a heart attack. And she says, honey, you just had a fart attack. You think you're going to have a heart attack? Little does he know, he's just like 95% of the other men that get rushed to the hospital with angina when it's actually just a fart attack. Not a heart attack. He's all gassed up and he's ready to blow. It's only been a short time after the supper meal and our meat and potato man is starting to rumble. The dinner table begins to shake. His wife turns in fright to see her husband red in the face and with one hand on his waistline and the other over his heart, and kaboom across the room. He lets one go from the back door that shoots him across the kitchen floor. The gas was so strong it shot him long, all the way over to the couch. Maybe that's a good thing. For 4 reasons. He may not have moved all night. He can now pull his belt in an extra inch. The pressure around his heart has been alleviated from the release of the gas, and another trip to the hospital has been diverted. Hundreds of people each day visit emergency rooms mistaking a heart attack for a gas attack. As the hot gas rises and puts pressure on the lungs and heart, the acidity eats up the minerals and oxygen needed by these organs, causing undue stress and pressure in the chest. It's always better to be safe than sorry. But first, lighten the load and flush the pounds to take the pressure off. It's daily cleansing tea time, not Miller time. Eventually, something will have to give if he continues down the same old path. The next time, it may be more than gas for this master blaster. Let's get back to the story. Are you okay, honey? His wife yells from the kitchen. Yes, honey, he groans. The pressure's gone, but not the rotten feeling. Something doesn't smell right. Honey, I think I'll just stay in. I mean, lay here on the couch and rest for a few minutes before we go for that walk. Minutes turn into hours, and now our all-American meat and potato man is now on the couch because, guess what? He's now the all-American couch potato. Does he remind you of anyone? Seriously, does he? burnt out on acid. Did you know that 7 million people yearly are rushed to the emergency room with acid reflux? And yes, he's gripping his chest, and the heartburn he is experiencing now has our Mr. Couch Potato in full attention. Well, it did. You guessed it. A few minutes later, he's sawing logs, snoring to beat the band. They're playing Roll Out the Barrel. Do you know why he's snoring? The food was not combined properly. It was cooked to death, and he did not chew it. And he's seeing that his digestive tract is sick and exhausted. His food is becoming spoiled rotten like the rest of his body. It's now up to the bacteria to decompose this undigested meal, which will soon cause a toxic waste spillover, nauseous gas, decreased oxygen, fungus, parasites, inflammation throughout his body, but not until he has filled up his pelvis. Your pelvis is like a soup bowl, and every time that you eat incorrectly and you rot down below, you get root rot. When you get root rot, what happens? Then your large intestine becomes a screen door in a submarine, and you start leaking waste into your pelvis. And guess what? Why wouldn't you have bladder problems, prostate problems? Why wouldn't you have endometriosis? Why wouldn't you have scar tissue in your fallopian tubes? Why wouldn't you have cysts on your ovaries? Why wouldn't eventually that pelvic bowl, become full of toxic waste and come out to your hips and then inflame the tissues in your hips and the joints? And now you've got decalcification in there, and you've got scar tissue formation, and now you think you need to have a hip replacement, when all you have to do is have a belief replacement and start eating right, start living right. And then instead of getting drugs to take down the pain and the inflammation, right? What do you know? You know that these are signals that you are not living correctly. It's your body telling you to love it. And understand something. When they tell you you need surgery, 99 out of 100 times you do not need surgery. They say that because they only know surgery. So do you want to go from pain, inflammation to drugs, to surgery, to more pain and inflammation and more drugs? Or do you want to wake up? Or do you want to break up like our Mr. Meat and Potato Man? Let's get back to him. The snoring is caused because of what? Because he's exhausted. His sinuses are inflamed. He's got excess mucus throughout his body, caused from the inflammation, and of course, lack of oxygen from this cesspool that's created, that smelly belly down below. Do you know 70 million people suffer from sinus problems today? 20 million people suffer from asthma, and 2 million people from emphysema? We have become walking, talking, mucus-making inflammation factories inside and out. Understand this. Our meat and potato man is fighting for his life, and he doesn't even know it. He doesn't even realize it, because he is the majority. We are a world of zombies that talk about love, but have no self-love. We talk about healthcare, but we don't even know that healthcare is self-care. We complain and explain while we ride the pain train, watching our families cry and even die because we can't break free from this family curse created by corporations and the systems we have come to trust. Just because unconscious living has become a normal way of life for almost the whole population does not make it right when loved ones are dying right under our noses. So where's Romeo now? Where's our all-American meat and potato man now? Where's the walk he promised honey? All we have now is a couch potato sawing logs. I tell you, that's called bare butt in a rut. Well, here we are again. It's 11 p.m. and time for bed. His wife gently wakes him. But guess what? He's grumpy as a bear and has the breath of one too. Why? Because nobody feels good or smells good when they're rotting inside. He's not grumpy. He's just constipated. And for most of us, this constipation is more emotional than physical. And guess what? It's a normal part of life, because everybody else, if everybody else is doing it, It must be right, eh? Luckily, it's only 11 o'clock, just in time for his daily dose of bad news. Like he doesn't feel bad enough already. Remember, like attracts like. He needs to confirm that someone out there is doing worse than him. So he turns on the news where all the worst events in the world are now exaggerated and condensed into a half an hour of more stomach upset, where he swallows even more indigestible garbage that will turn on him. Welcome to the evil plot. Welcome to the addiction, okay, of the meat and potato man. This is programming at its worst. But on the bright side, it makes him feel better on some crazy level, knowing that there's somebody out there doing worse than him. His focus is now on all the world's problems that he cannot solve and are none of his business in the first place. Instead of focusing on the real problems he can solve, being the master of his health, being the master of his mind, and reviving his relationship with his body and his sweet honey. A tragic love story, I think. This is a tragic love story that occurs much too often, and you know how the story ends. Another unfulfilled night with his loving wife, and of course, the walk stays on hold. So now he peels himself off the couch and drags his bare butt to bed. And because the news was the last thought on his mind, the sweet dreams will now be restless nightmares. So the cycle continues. You guessed it. It's 3:35 a.m. in the morning, and our meat and potato man has been to the washroom 3 times already. Just like his bowel, hardly anything comes out, and when it does, he has to force it. Drip, drip, drop. His sluggish bowel, his bladder infection, his hiatal hernia, and let us not forget his inflamed prostate have caused his life to become a daily struggle with no end in sight. Welcome to the domino effect, because the domino effect is in full force due to his colon in a coma and it's spilling toxic waste into his pelvis. A pelvis full of pain. He is cursed with continual bladder infections, prostate inflammation, erectile dysfunction, and down the road, possibly prostate cancer. When your cells are bathed in toxic waste long enough, inflammation, internal scar tissue, formation, calcification, mutation is the only reward. All the meat and potato man's energy has been redirected to fight this raging fire of inflammation in his pelvis. You are what you focus on, and his focus is a fearful future. Life sucks when you believe others are responsible for your life. Perception is everything. So now his dreams of a better life are on hold until he learns or just burns out. Understand this, that the prostate is located right behind the bladder and in front of the sigmoid colon, which is the last 4 inches of the large intestine, which makes this area a landmine for the prostate, because 90% of most men struggle with chronic constipation and don't even know it. I call this landmine the prostate sandwich. Whether the medical system wishes to recognize this indisputable fact or not, constipation is the #1 cause of prostate inflammation and prostate cancer and bladder problems. End of story. The majority of all bowel cancers happen within the last 6 inches of your sigmoid colon, otherwise within a finger's reach. This would be the rectum that almost killed him. As I have stated countless times before, the mother of all organs is the large intestine, and shutting her down will create a domino effect of disease throughout the whole body. Show the large intestine the respect that it deserves, or it will back up, causing you to break down, and all your cells will break loose. Now, let's get back to our story. Our meat and potato man wakes up as grumpy as a bear, with a sinus headache, and just as tired as when he went to bed. 12 million people suffer from sleep apnea. 45 million people today suffer from chronic headaches. His body could not rest, recuperate, or restore itself. It's been under attack and working overtime all night long trying to deal with his toxic state. Just know this, he needs his daily fix of caffeine to get him going in more ways than one. Number one, to alleviate his exhausted state so he can participate in life on some level. And I mean this in the best way. But understand, as long as he remains unconscious of his power to heal himself, he will continue to be mastered by everyone and everything else. Number two, he will be working on number two for the next 20 to 30 minutes. Why do you think he has a hiatal hernia? Why do you think he's in the bathroom grunting? Why do you think in the bathroom he's got all kinds of magazines, and when he goes into that little room, sometimes he's in there longer than any room in the house? Well, guess what? He must now use coffee as a stimulant to go to the washroom, as he has done for the last few years, because his large intestine is in a state of coma. Otherwise, it's down and out and lacking tone. All this pushing to force a bowel movement has created hemorrhoids the size of grapes, and now he walks like John Wayne. How's that working for you, partner? He also suffers from a hiatal hernia, like I just stated, resulting from the countless years of grunting and groaning to squeeze a bowel movement out every morning when he's not experiencing diarrhea. Because understand something, diarrhea is caused from chronic constipation. That's right, because your bowel goes into crisis. It says, get this the heck out of here, or we've got cancer come a-calling. So here he sits, brokenhearted, wished for a bowel movement, but he only farted. As far as his morning coffee goes, it does not give him energy. It steals energy from the body because it's a stimulant. When it hits the liver, it increases metabolism, giving a false sense of energy that is simply stolen from this organ. If only he realized the best things in life are not found in a lineup, on TV, in the newspaper, or the tip of the day from his buddies or his so-called health doctor, which is a medical doctor that has nothing to do with health. Go figure. Life is inside out, upside down. Look it. Sometimes you have to look under a rock, climb a mountain, or swim the river. But the answer will come if you search inside yourself. If you take massive personal action and you decide that you will become a braveheart and you will love yourself and you will protect yourself from yourself, you can break away from the all-American meat and potato man. Look it. If the all-American meat and potato man woke up one day and turned his back on the media, corporations, and systems and embraced creating the perfect day in a nutritional, physical, and emotional way, he would become the braveheart warrior for himself and the light for his family. He would finally say goodbye to the coffee blues and goodbye to constipation, inflammation, and hello, honey, I love my life and I love you. Let's go for that walk, maybe a mile or two. So never give up. There's a hidden practitioner, a hidden genius, and a hidden hero, braveheart hero, in all of us. So awaken the braveheart by taking small, gentle, loving steps each and every day towards the perfect day, because you are the answer that you seek. Goodbye to the all-American meat and potato man and say hello to the all-American braveheart hero. And who is that? Well, that's someone that says, I am love, I am healed, I am braveheart. Today and every day, from the moment I rise until I gently close my eyes, I will trust, honor, respect, protect, forgive, and totally love myself first and foremost before anyone else or anything else. So help me God. Because I am, I can, I'm healed. I am braveheart. Listen, for your perfect day, please go to docofdetox.com. Go to the top of the page. Click on consultation, and then pick your perfect day master consultant. And guess what? You're going to pay $150. You're going to get an hour consult sent to you. When you fill out the forms, I will be going over that with my master consultant. They will be doing the consultation. Like I said, an hour consultation recording comes to you, and then you've got lifetime support from us. We back up our work because we know that it's all about programming. It's all about the mind. If you don't retrain your brain, you will never have the reality that you truly want. So we must change parts of our personality to get that reality. And that reality is called healthy, energetic, becoming a braveheart, standing in your power, and never giving it away again. I know you got this, braveheart. 3, 2, 1. Reclaim your God-given right to the life you've always been promised.
So what is a New World practitioner? Well, a New World practitioner is somebody that understands that training comes before treatment. And a New World practitioner understands that you can't give what you're not. So until you understand that unconditional love and care for oneself is what you need to become so that you can give that to your patients, don't expect a different outcome than every other practitioner out there. And that's what we teach here, because you need to become what you want to see in all of your patients.